Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the...
This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority. Live in the studio, it's time for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Live from Wings, etc. Hear the Coaches Show each week on SEMO ESPN 1220 and also at SEMOESPN.com and the SEMO ESPN app. Also, watch the Red Hawks Coaches Show webcast live at SEMOESPN.com. Now, let's go live to Wings, etc. for the Red Hawks Coaches Show.
Welcome in to the Red Hawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings Etc. restaurant in the Cape Girardeau location. Nice crowd. Still seats, though, available for you if you would like to stop out and join us for the Coaches Show. We're going to be talking with Coach Tom Matukowicz coming up momentarily. And Mark Robinson, Red Hawks starting tailback, is going to join us coming up a little bit later on in the show. Don't forget, on Mondays, their award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings Etc. are just 69 cents. They have food and drink specials throughout the week. They have a full menu. If you're not thinking wings, you can think about their freshly made burgers, perhaps. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. And you'll notice the high-definition televisions tuned to the latest sporting events. Right now I see the MLB Network. I see some replays of some NFL and college football games. The Cardinals are in action tonight. A big series with the Washington Nationals. Steven Strasburg, who leads the National League in victories, will be pitching for Washington against 15-game winner Dakota Hudson. For the Cardinals, you can watch Redbird baseball in high def right here at Wings, etc., not only here in Cape, but also in the Jackson location. Coach Tom Matukowicz has joined us here as we get ready to get things headed back to the home schedule. Coach, you've got a 2-game homestand coming up. That's got to feel good. You've logged a lot of miles the last 2 weeks.
We have, man. It's going to be great to be home. It's family weekend. Our players play well on at Houck, and just that energy we get from the sideline and end zones and all that. Plus, just, you know, it's like you gain a day because Friday's not a travel day, and get well rested and ready to play our best game.
Family weekend. It's going to be normally early in the season, you're playing night games, and as you get deeper into the season and the weather starts to cool off, then you go to the day games. So a lot of times this early in the season, we would see a night game at Houck Stadium, but it has a little bit to do with the distance that your opponent, West Virginia State's going to have to travel, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an extremely long road trip for them, and just to try to accommodate that, you know, from a student-athlete standpoint, you know, it's pretty rough getting home that late or that early the next day, and so we try to help them out as much as we can.
And what time did your buses pull back into Rosengarten after the game against Mizzou?
I think it was 2:30 in the morning, and you know, I'm kind of growly. I haven't had any sleep, and I'm pissed. So I don't know if I got back at 2:30 or is that disgusting film I had to watch from Mizzou. So, I mean, we'll just tee off right into it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I've done a really poor job coaching this football team. And if you went to that game, I apologize. That had to make your heart just, you know, we're better than that. And I apologize, and I'm going to get it right. You know, we're not going to win that game. But, damn, they don't need to look like the Chiefs either. So we got to look in the mirror, and it starts with me. And I need to do a better job of just accountability and about how we go about our business and how we're going to play and who we are as a football team. And so, you know, I got a lot of work to cut out for me. And like I said, I know a lot of you guys didn't enjoy that game, and you're listening to the guy that's responsible for it. And so I apologize, and I'm going to do everything I can to get this team back to playing the kind of football we should be playing and have played before.
You know, when we were watching the game and broadcasting, one of the things that I was thinking was obviously anytime you lose a football game, a coach is not happy. There will be certain aspects that you won't be happy with. I kind of thought in my mind one of the things that might be near the top of the list was you gave up a punt return. And I know how you are about special teams, and I was thinking, boy, and Jake Reynolds punted 14 times. That's a new school record. But I was kind of thinking, boy, that's one of the things that he'll talk about pretty quickly at the coaches show.
Yeah, you don't want to have a school record of punting.
No.
Okay, so first of all, stop punting so much. Second of all, we have always had special teams. Since I've been here, we've been able to impact the game. And we, first of all, we didn't. Second of all, we allowed them to. And that goes back to just the how we play. Like, we're SEMO. This is our identity. And if you don't want to go all out and you don't want to get your job done, then I hope you transfer to Murray, because I ain't playing your ass. And we need to get some stuff going, and it starts with that. And, it doesn't matter who we play. It matters how we play. We're not a top 25 team yet. We have top 25 players. I think we have top 25 coaches, but we haven't put it together. We got to put it together, or stop acting like we got everything solved, because we don't. And it starts with that, first of all, that leadership and that holding to the standard of what it takes to play and these little disciplines. And that's what I talked to the team this morning and our team meeting about was, do you know how hard it is to win on Saturday? How could you expect to win on Saturday if we can't even win on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? We had 8 guys not get their study hall hours in. We had a guy not wear the right shirt. And all these things, you don't think it matters. Because the only way to get a big discipline is through a little discipline and handling your business. And they didn't, because I haven't made him, and I haven't held the standard, and the leadership on his football team need to get back to holding that standard.
Did Mizzou do anything that you did not expect on Saturday?
No. I mean, I think they did a really good job, and they're a really good football team. But, I think we had more SEMO problems than Mizzou problems. We got to play better. I think, defensively, I thought we are playing a little better. Our third down was really good. It's just the big plays. You're not going to get the point total down if you allow the big plays that they got on us from missed tackles. Our corners got to tackle better. Like, guess what? That's on film. You know what West Virginia State's doing right now? Going to get the ball to our corners. And if you don't want to tackle, we're not going to win that game either, and you won't be in the game. And so that's the thing that we got to work on. But really, defensively, other than the big plays, I kind of like where we're headed. I feel like we're getting better offensively. We got to go back to square one. We got to get our run game going. If you get our run game, everything improves. Protection improves. RPOs improves. Everything. And it's not just the O-line either. It's the running backs. It's the quarterback and the mesh and all these things that we got to go back and work on fundamentally. And the good thing is we know our issues. So now – we got to seek and destroy and fix and find out all the issues and stop blaming. I'm not going to blame Brady Barkey because we had to go play Mizzou or because we had to go play Montana State, because nothing gets better. That's our schedule. Our job's to go execute the schedule and do what it takes to be successful. And so we ain't having any pity parties with the Red Hawks. We're going to have get-it-done parties.
Now, as far as the newcomers along the fans like
kind of heated up. I don't give any coffee this way. It's dangerous right now.
Just water for the coach, guys, just passing that along. So your offensive line has 4 new starters on it, so that's a work in progress. The only way they're going to get better is reps and game reps, certainly. What did you see? You're going up against the best defensive line you're going to see all season, I would think, with the SEC talent up there. What did you see from your offensive line in this particular game?
I'll tell you the thing I did see is I saw guys really giving great effort. And that hasn't always been the case, and so I really feel like that's progress. But first, if you don't take 2 good steps, like, your effort's not going to matter too. You got to have both, and if they're good enough, they're going to expose your lack of fundamentals, and they were. And so we had to be lights out on fundamentally, and we weren't. Now, I will say our protection, I don't know if you felt the same way. But as the game went on, the protection got better.
Oh, yeah.
It was just too late. Santa was scared to death. He had stitches coming out of his chin, and because we didn't block nobody, and they got to him, so the damage was already done. But we did improve. It just goes back to that run game. Like, we have to get back to the run game and get it going early and often.
Now, the play you're referring to where he got a laceration on his chin, it was clearly a helmet that hit him in the chin. We watched that on the replay. He stayed down for just a little bit, went to the sideline, and they were working. You could see, ESPN had the cameras there. We had a flat screen up in our press box. So you could see Ben Fox working the gauze and Amanda Martin, and you could see that he was bleeding. But Santa Catarina, man, he was chomping at the bit to get back out there the very next series.
Yeah, he's what makes him great is because he's tougher than everybody else. You should see him after Montana State. He had a bruise on every piece. You look at him, you're like, oh, my God, did you get in a car wreck? And that's why he's successful. And, hey, it's a tough game, and we got to not – first of all, we can't get him hit, but it's going to happen and how you respond. And, he's as tough as any player I've ever coached in my career to take those kind of shots. And I ended up pulling him, and we almost got into – I had to get him in a headlock and give him a noogie because he was going to tell me who was going to play. But, that's what you love about him. So, that's a great place to start on offense is that guy and that toughness.
That's a smart move, though. You've got to think about the rest of your season.
Yeah.
That game was not winnable at the time that you took Daniel out of the game. And Joe Pyle and Jacob Bowie got a little Division I experience on a big stage.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wish I could pull myself in this nightmare.
As far as defensively, you did force a turnover.
In the red zone.
It was Al Young intercepting a ball in Mizzou's end zone, thrown by Kelly Bryant. Really good play by Al.
Yeah, that was a great job. Great, job of the deep ball. And I think this is as good as it's been for a while for me. We did get one PI that was really, that was not a bad play by us. So I really think on the passing game, we're playing the deep ball very well. It's just the fact that we're not tackling in the secondary. That's what they were cracking our safeties in our box, and they were going to make our corners tackle. And the most disturbing thing is they didn't want to. That's disturbing. And so if that doesn't get fixed, there'll be new corners out there.
Now, if you are wanting to get some reps, work on tackling, how do you do it with minimal contact in practice? I know you don't want to get anybody hurt. Do you have to change your philosophy in practice? What do you do to help these guys work on tackling?
That's just where I feel like I've failed is the fact that it just takes what it takes. And I've been coaching scared because I don't want to get guys hurt, but it takes what it takes. Like, you have to get it done through the week if you expect to get it done on Saturday. And Tuesday's full pads, and guess what? We're doing live tackling with our DBs. So – and I want to know if you're going to throw it in there because if you're not, there'll be someone else in there. We're not going to wait till Saturday.
There was another play where Al Young was in coverage. It was a deep ball, and I don't know how he could have had tighter coverage. Yeah. Somehow the receiver came down with the ball. It was a heck of a play, but there was nothing lacking with Al Young's coverage on that particular deep ball.
Yeah, like I said, I feel good about our deep ball coverage. It was a great play, great throw, and those are going to happen. I'm glad we didn't PI him or give him something simple. They at least had to earn it.
And Larry Roundtree, he finished fourth in the SEC in rushing last year, Coach, over 1,200 yards. He is a man in the top conference in the country, the SEC. He's the real deal, isn't he? Yeah,
he's really good. He's got skill like a small guy, but he's big. Their offensive line and things that I don't know if you talked about it much, but people don't appreciate the tight ends they had. One's a NFL top couple round.
Albert
guy.
O. He's going to play in the NFL.
Exactly, and they had two of them, and so that really is they were hard to defend because it wasn't just the sheer talent of the running back. It was they were doing a good job blocking.
And the quarterback, let's face it, he was on the national championship team the last couple of years. Clemson, now he only played for 4 games with Clemson last year. Kelly Bryant, but led them to the football playoff the year before after Deshaun Watson ended up going to the NFL. And he was 4-0 as a starter last season. I mean, this guy is a pretty elite talent at quarterback. I mean, he's probably, would you say, I mean, he was playing for Clemson. He might be a top 10 talent in the country at that position.
Yeah, it's just interesting. You know, the NFL is a cookie-cutter league, and so they want him a certain way. And he's definitely a spread type quarterback. You know, he's not going to be a traditional pocket NFL style guy, and so I don't know what they'll think of him, but he's definitely got the arm strength and the size and the mobility to do a lot of things. You know, it just depends, I'm sure, how he finishes the season against that type of talent. You know, they got I think, was it South Carolina?
South Carolina.
And so those are the type of games that the NFL is going to be watching. But, you know, and from what I understand, they're, you know, a good team, and Coach Odom has done such a good job. I mean, you know, they outplayed us, they out-physicaled us, they out-coached us, and so hats off to those guys. And you know, you definitely have my respect and appreciate the check. You know, made quite a bit of money for the university in the last 2 weeks, and so now we move home and get locked in on the, you know, this team coming up.
Now, one thing that you can look at when you talk about the University of Missouri, yes, they stumbled at Wyoming. I think they were up 17-0 in that game. So they were in control for a while in that game, and it was a couple of turnovers by Bryant, who ended up throwing for 400 yards in that game. But now in the SEC East, Felipe Franks, starting quarterback for Florida, out for the season with a broken leg and knee issues. So, you know, it's Georgia and potentially Mizzou is the top two teams in the SEC East.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. Pulling for the Tigers, I am.
All right. Now, as you look back at that particular game, how healthy did you get out of the football game? Because we mentioned that Santa had to get stitches. Christian Wilkerson took a shot to the head. At first, the flag came in, and they said targeting. He lay motionless for a while, and then he started moving his legs, and the training crew was out there. He walked off under his own power, walked to the locker room under his own power. They went and looked at the play on replay, and then in Columbia they pick up the flag as if he didn't get hit in the head, and he was even bleeding. So, you know, obviously the blood emanated from some type of activity on the particular play. What did you think of the play, and how is Christian Wilkerson?
Christian's fine. You know, I think in the OVC that's a targeting. I do think that's the kind of hits they want out of football, but I think, you know, they're sitting there. The SEC doesn't want to take out one of their starters because, you know, it was the second half. Don't want to take out one of their starters versus South Carolina. But, you know, we are banged up. We have 12 on our injury list, but I don't think we lost anybody the game. I think our biggest bruises are to our damn ego. That's what hurts the most. My ego's bruised to hell. So is all these other guys, because that's what happens when you don't play well, don't prepare well, and don't coach well.
When you take a shot to the head, concussion protocol is very strict. They're very serious about it in the NCAA. But in talking to you,
they did a good job. That was our first experience. You know, we got a new medical staff, and so that's a big deal. You got to make sure they had the kid's best interest at heart. The coach is completely out of it, which is we should. Took him inside, took him to the locker room. He got a cut on his cheekbone, but he was fine. They said, Coach, you can go back in, and the game was over at that point, so we didn't put him back in. But he could have. And so
which tells us there was no concussion.
Yeah, exactly. So he's good to go. I'm sure he's shaking up a little bit because of the hit. He took two of those. And, you know, that's the life of a wideout, you know, certainly in the SEC.
Boy, it's ironic. We had him on last week, and we talked about, you know, when he first got here, he wasn't a guy that was going to be a guy that went strong over the middle. Right. He was a good deep ball guy. I think either as a freshman or sophomore set the single-season record for yards per completion in the history of SEMO football, and, you know, he takes a shot like that over the middle. If he wasn't as big and as strong as he was, he's probably not playing this week, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's, you know, we're moving on.
All right. When you evaluate what you're going to see on Saturday with West Virginia State. I'm sure there are a lot of people that really haven't heard of West Virginia State. They're a Division II team, and they play in, I think it's the Metro East. Anyway, whatever conference they play in. But they are 2-0, and they've had to come from behind in the fourth quarter to win both of their football games. In fact, they played Glenville State this past week, scored a touchdown with 41 seconds left, and they end up winning the game 33-30. But the thing that jumps out at you, their quarterback, Austin Hensley, threw for 439 yards, no interceptions, and he was not sacked in the football game.
Yeah, I mean, that very good quarterback. That's why I'm concerned this week, because if you got a good quarterback, man, you're in every game. And they got a really good one. Very good touch, long ball's good, and we can't let him get comfortable. I mean, they threw it 60 times and probably could have threw it 70. I mean, they did a great job, and tells you a lot about their team to have the kind of fourth quarters they've had. And so I know we're going to get a confident team coming in, and I know they're going to look forward to playing up just like we do when we play up, and we're going to get that team's best. And when the kickoff goes, they're going to be ready, fired up, and we got to feel the same way.
It's the Mountain East Conference that they play in, and in their preseason poll, they were picked to finish third, so they're picked to be one of the better teams in their conference. One thing that we didn't talk much about, the move of Justin Swift. He has been such an impact outside linebacker for you. With the loss of Devin Alexander out for the season with the injury, in this last game, you said, hey, we're going to move Justin Swift to inside linebacker. And you said it may not be the best move against Missouri, but it is a good move for the rest of our schedule.
Yeah, we're trying to get our best players on the field. But Swift's one that is really banged up right now. And so he's hurting pretty good. And when we looked at it, I'm not sure he can hold up inside. Those collisions are a lot different than an outside linebacker.
Sure.
And so, that's something we're questioning, because some of the guys that got in on Saturday did do a good job at inside linebacker. Mincy was a guy that ended up, I don't know how many snaps he got. He had like 10 snaps, but made 3 plays out of the 10. McCauley did a good job. Mike Matthews is doing a good job. And so we're looking at it. We may move him back out because I'm nervous. Realistically, is he going to be able to hold up with that type of banging inside?
Because he's not one of your biggest linebackers.
No, he's the smallest guy.
Yeah.
He's 220, and those other guys are 240. And he's a skill. Like he could cover, he can do all those things, and maybe he's not a banger. Even though he's not soft or anything, it's just whether his body can handle that kind of constant collision.
And the guys that you mentioned, Mike Matthews, who backs up Zach Hall, and then Rashawn McCauley, who was backing up Devin Alexander. This is valuable playing time for those guys. But, again, they're freshmen.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was the reason for the move. But then when we watched the game, we kind of liked what we saw there. And so, and the other one is Mincy that he didn't mention. So those 3 guys really kind of showed up in the game. They made some plays against the SEC, and so – maybe we have better depth there, or maybe they're more along than we originally thought.
Well, kind of like you gave Zach Hall an opportunity to play as a freshman. All of a sudden he starts making plays,
exactly.
And, hey, this guy might be a player.
Exactly. It's the same way with Swift. Swift came out on the circuit when Meredith got hurt. If Meredith didn't get hurt, Swift wasn't going to have that opportunity against Jacksonville State that one year. And so
every game that Swift played, filling in for Chad Meredith, who was injured, he was making plays every single game.
So that's kind of the advantage of getting a lot of those guys in Mizzou. I mean, we got to play a lot. You found some guys that played pretty good. Trey Hodges was a corner that stood out, tackled well, ran down on punt well, and so, that's the advantage of getting to play a lot of guys. You get a live opportunity to see how they're doing. The other one's Caleb Strauss. I don't know if you know, he's a tight end. We got him in the game. He caught a
pass.
That was contested, but also, man, he blocked pretty good. And we've always kind of been waiting to see that in practice, but he actually kind of stepped up even more so in the game. And so that was great to see also.
Do you see that on occasion? A guy may be a decent practice player, and then all of a sudden the lights are on for the game, and you're like, whoa, we haven't seen that in practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see that?
Swift's one of those guys. And it just goes back to sometimes in high schools, you don't have to practice that hard, and so you get used to this one way and then get out of the game and you turn it up. But Division I football, that's not how it works. If you don't practice well, you're probably not even getting that opportunity.
Yeah, I hear that a lot in basketball. Like you talk to Coach Ray, and he will say, hey, some of these guys are just so talented, they just show up, when we tip the ball off, and, here we go. But now they get to this level, and everybody has as much physical talent as they do, and they see, hey, my work ethic has to go to another level.
Yeah.
Is that something that you deal with in football?
Yeah, because it goes back to you got to be a craftsman. Like, you got to know your position and be able to use your hands and all these things, because everybody was the best at their high school. So now what? It's these skill sets that you're taught. How good are you at these skill sets to actually accentuate your skill, and your talent level that God gave you?
It's interesting. If this is as banged up as you have been, yet you're saying that, nobody is really out for any significant time. You're just really kind of banged up. The time in your schedule right now seems to, at least on paper, allow for the maximum healing, because you've got this game, then you have a bye week, and then you start conference play. Right. So we're still 2 full weeks away, or almost 3 weeks away from starting OVC play.
The actual season. So, we paid the price on the front end with 2 difficult road trips, but now we should get the benefit of being home for basically 3 weeks and be well rested, and more importantly, getting better at playing the game of football.
All right, let me make sure. Okay, Mark Robinson is on his way, so we'll be talking to Mark coming up in just a few minutes. I don't know, Jeff Hanzo usually lets us know when the polls come out. I saw one poll, the Athlon Sports Poll. You're number 24 this week. I know that doesn't concern you. Fans kind of like to know that kind of stuff. Media members kind of like to know, okay, what are the polls looking like this week? Montana State, though, I'll be interested to see what happens with them. They went on the road and won at Western Illinois, Missouri Valley Conference Football School last week, and they were already at number 10. The better that Montana State does this year, that's the better for you as the season goes along, and if you're in the mix with the playoff selection committee.
Well, that's the thing that, we got to understand is we are creating a resume, right? And so that all that matters, and more importantly is the work that SIU's doing. They're 2-1 now and beat FBS. They beat UT Martin, and so that win's going to look better also. And, of course, Montana State winning and Mizzou winning is great. But none of that really matters if we don't get better as a football program. So, I think we have a top 25 team. I think we have top 25 talent. But we ain't a top 25 team. We're not playing well enough. Like, that's the truth. I don't like that. In fact, it makes me want to punch this water in front of me. But it's the truth. And so we better go figure out how to get there.
And as far as the way the schedule lines up, 2 games at home. What does that mean for the players?
I think they love it. They love playing at home. And just the extra rest, even on the coaches. The thing you don't understand is, I get home at 2:30. Well, my day started as soon as, Sunday happened, and I never got to refresh myself. Same way with the players. It's tough when you're on 2 back-to-back road trips like that. And so, to be able to be at home and rest. And I know the Moose Knuckles wish we played at midnight because they'd be the only ones out there. But, 1 o'clock game for the coaches is very nice for us on Saturday, because after the game, I don't have to think about Tennessee Tech. You know what I mean? I can have a night off or whatever, go make out with my wife. She doesn't even want to make out with me now. She's like, bro, you need to go to the office and get it fixed.
So what is
I said at church there was 10 people to the left, to the right, front. It was like, man, this guy's radioactive. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I noticed our engineer Dean was up here, and he was talking to me. You came up, and I shook your hand, and you kind of
got a funk around.
You looked like you were getting ready to stick your hand out for Dean, and he just turned and headed in the other direction. I'm like, man, that never happens after wins.
I'll tell you something about Dean. His hat game's outstanding.
Yeah,
no one's going to beat him on his hat game for sure.
Dean Field, our chief engineer here for River Radio. All right, as far as that SIU game, I did want to mention that. They were down 14-0. Now, UT Martin, you just go back over the last 10 years with Jason Simpson as their head coach. They are top 3 or 4 every year. They're one of the better programs in our conference.
Yes.
So that's a good win for SIU.
It really is. And happy for Nick. And I don't know if you heard, but Coach Kill just left. He resigned as AD there.
I did not hear that.
And now he's going to be a special assistant to the head coach of Virginia Tech. And so that's interesting.
Now, that's Justin Fuentes, right? Mm-hmm. Who used to be the quarterback at Murray State.
Is that right?
Yeah. He was.
He used to be the head coach at Memphis.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when he was playing quarterback for Murray State. I'm old.
So, I think that was an interesting move. But
and everyone was so excited about everything that he had been doing there at SIU. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's tough, he's not exactly a burning desire to send emails, being an administrator. So I'm sure he's like, man, I'm tired of talking to people. Let me go do something I love. I don't know. I know he loves Southern Illinois. Like, he loves living there. He's got a lake home there. He's going to be there, so whatever this move must have really had him excited about, maybe feel like he could help him and add value.
And when you talk about Coach Kill, you coached with him for years and years. How much football did you learn from Jerry Kill? How much of your knowledge about being a head coach did you learn by working with Jerry Kill, who was a super successful head football coach?
Yeah, I mean, his DNA and mine are all mixed, and how I do a lot of things based on what I learned from him. And what people don't appreciate is just all the assistants he had. You go through and you look at every assistant. He had a lot of great assistants that I learned a lot of great football from, and so those memories are awesome, and very thankful for those.
The head coach gets a lot of the credit, but a lot of times you see head coaches, if they don't surround themselves with outstanding assistant coaches, chances are they're not going to really be that successful, right?
Yeah. And that is, and you got to be able to hire the right staff, and got to have the money to hire the right staff. But you also, you can't think of it like I'm going to hire this job done, because we don't have those resources to just hire every assistant and they're ready to go. I have to do a better job, and that's the thing I had to realize is I got to do a better job also of developing my staff. And you don't even think about things like that when you're getting a job. You think, well, because you were a good assistant doesn't mean everybody is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you have to do a better job of communicating on how to get the job done with your assistants, and you get out of them what you put into them. And so, I've had to grow there.
And it takes a big commitment and sacrifice if you're going to be an assistant coach at this level. I remember John Gruden, head coach of the Raiders, was an assistant coach here, coach, and you just don't make money. You've got to eat, peanut butter and jelly. I mean, Gruden was famous for, all he subsisted on was cereal when he was here. I mean, it's a challenge and a sacrifice to be an assistant football coach.
Yeah. I've been poor my whole life. I still eat cereal all the time, and I drink wine out of a box. That's how poor I grew up. I think I can afford bottled wine, but I still drink it out of a box.
All right, Jeff Hodza lets us know that the Red Hawks are number 23 in this week's FCS Media Poll, number 25 in the Coaches Poll, and Athlon Sports has the Red Hawks at number 24. We're going to be talking with Mark Robinson. I've heard that he is on the way. Tell us a little bit about Mark Robinson, Coach, from your vantage point and recruiting him here because he started his career at Presbyterian College.
Well, Ray Smith, our corners coach, recruits Georgia. That's where he's from. He's south of Atlanta. Has an amazing mother. I mean, this mother, I'd hire her to be in charge of discipline on the team. Like, she don't play. I mean, she gets after it. And so, he went to a school that was a bad fit and wanted to leave. We brought him in that semester last year, and he's done a great job. And people don't realize when you're in college, man, you go through a lot. He lost his father while he was playing for us, and found out on the trip to Weber State. We're on the flight. The mom calls me, and the plane hasn't left yet. And so she tells me the news, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to tell Mark that his father just passed away. And so, all this talk about football and trying to win games, and then something like that you realize just, that's not all it is. And sometimes you got to be their dad, you got to be their family, and that's what a team does. We were there for Mark in that time of just heartache, and he's done a great job. I love that he plays for us. I love that he's a Red Hawk, and love everything about him.
I remember when you passed that news along and you asked that we not talk about it on the radio during the playoff game at Weber State. When you become a head football coach, you have to wear a lot of hats. And probably when you got into coaching, you probably didn't know, hey, the job description might also include telling a young student athlete that his father has passed away.
Yeah, I know. It's just I wish the world wasn't like that, but the world's hard and it's tough, and sometimes it's going to bring you to your knees. And that's why you got to have community. That's why you got to have a team, because you can't do it by yourself. You need other people to help you through this. So he just walked in. The only other thing that's good about him is his arms. We try to get him off the bus first because he's got big arms. So we're going to do that right away. Plus his smile. He's got a beautiful smile.
Beautiful smile. Well, we'll talk to him about that. He just walked in the door. Mark Robinson, Red Hawks starting tailback, going to join us when we come back. Let's take a timeout. We're at the Coaches Show at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. Mark Robinson joins us when we come back on SEMO ESPN. We will be right back here in the Cape location again next week after the Red Hawks take on West Virginia State University, and that'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff now, 1 o'clock. So that means the tailgates get going about 11 o'clock. The Red Hawk Walk is at 11 o'clock, and so make sure you get there early. Now, if you want to attend the River Radio tailgate, you need to go get tickets, and you can pick up tickets at Andy's Frozen Custard, at Supercuts, and Little Caesars Pizza. So and I know they each have 100 tickets, and they were gone by the time kickoff happened in the SIU game. So make sure you get the tickets early. Again, Little Caesars, Andy's Frozen Custard, and Supercuts. Just walk in, ask for your 2 tailgate tickets. They are absolutely free, but you cannot attend our tailgate tent unless you've got the tickets. So make sure you get the tickets. Get there early. Game day experience at Houck Stadium coming up on Saturday. And don't forget, at Wings Etc., their famous appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their deep-fried pickle spears. And if you're coming for lunch, their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $6.99. Good luck trying to find a half-pound lunch special for $6.99. They've got food and drink specials throughout the week, including on Mondays. Their award-winning jumbo wings are just 69 cents. Let's talk it over now with Red Hawks running back Mark Robinson. Now, you got here just a few minutes ago because of school. What class do you have right about now?
Sports management.
How is that?
It's good, man. It's new for me, but I'm loving it. It's a new journey, and I'm really looking forward to it.
What kind of things do you work on in sports management? What are the things they're trying to teach?
Being a great teammate and possibly becoming a coach one day. So those are things we learn about how to lead, how to connect with kids and stuff like that. People that will be coaching.
All right. What's your major?
Corporal communication.
All right. So you say that they talk about coaching there. Is that something that you have thought about potentially down the line, or you want to go in a different direction, or do you know yet?
I thought about it a couple times, but I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure right now.
All right. As you played at the University of Missouri this past week, how about that stadium, man? They've got some nice facilities. That end zone project, and I know you guys were down there. I think your locker rooms are there. I think it was $100 million project that they put together. What was it like down inside there? I didn't go inside. We could just see the outside.
It was a great experience, man. Beautiful sight. Exciting just to be there, have an opportunity to play in the stadium, experience the atmosphere and take it as something that we can build on and learn on. So it was awesome, man.
And I'm sure there were a lot of your teammates who are from Missouri, probably grew up Mizzou fans.
Correct.
Now, you are from Leesburg, Georgia. Where is Leesburg located?
It's kind of at the bottom of Georgia.
So
yeah.
Valdosta's down there, I
know.
Yeah,
Valdosta down there. Well, not really close to Savannah, but we're almost like close to Florida, so we're at the bottom of Georgia.
So you probably visited the Florida Panhandle a lot then, right?
Nah, I don't really visit Florida like that. So.
Oh, yeah? All right, so Leesburg, you went to Lee County High School. What was it like playing at Lee County?
Well, actually, I transferred there my senior year. Just a bigger stage, man. A much bigger stage. It was a great experience, real football, hard football. I really enjoyed it there my 1 year there.
Now, they list you at 222. How close is that?
Actually, today I weighed in at about 224, so maybe it's because, the weekend, when we get back practicing, I'll probably be back down to 222.
What was the dinner after the game? They always bring you something to eat after the game, and football players can put away a lot of food. What was on the menu after the Mizzou game?
We had pasta and lasagna, and to be quite honest, it was one of the best that I've had after the game so far. I don't know if it was because I was hungry or not, but it was pretty good after the game.
All right, if you had to guess, or just from what you've seen, who is the biggest eater on the team?
Biggest eater on the team, man.
Or somebody that you say, man, are you seriously? Is that your third helping? A guy like that where you're like, he's never full.
I'm going to go with Jakai on this one, man.
Jakai Baker.
Yeah, we do have a lot of guys who eat a lot. It's the football team. You know how that is, man. We do have some guys that could put away some food. So if y'all have any leftovers, they'll come and clean it right up for you, man.
Jakai is listed at 6'6", 295. He has to be physically one of the largest human beings on the roster.
He is.
And he's a guy that is opening up holes for you off the left side. Do you feel like you are stronger running in a particular direction? Do you like maybe running to your left more, up the middle, to the right? Does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter, but I would love to just be down here. That just every running back kind of has its own legit to or things that they like to do, and that's just one of the things I like to do. But for my O-line, I mean, whatever best for them, I'll just get it done. As long as they're comfortable, I'm comfortable. So that's the best thing about that.
Well, you saw your playing time increase a lot last year when Marquez Terry went down with an injury. They counted on you even more, and you really delivered. You had a really good year. Do you think sometimes just because of your size, how big you are, people are a little surprised by your burst of speed?
Absolutely, man. It's just, training, taking things seriously, putting in the amount of work, to be able to perform or help the team any way I can, give us the best chance to get an advantage on anybody who we face on any given day.
A lot of times speed can be God-given, but there
Correct.
are ways that you can get faster, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
there are techniques. Tell us a little bit about how you can actually get faster.
Obviously, I would say a lot of track, just learning, just like standing around track guys, picking up different things that they do. Just learning, staying in tune, being in shape, try to just run hard, run physical, and eventually you'll get there.
All right, in the weight room, who is the strongest guy as far as the running backs go?
Zion Custon, he squats a lot,
Okay.
but other than that, I'm pretty sure I have everything else.
Okay, so other than squats.
Yeah.
And plus, he's smaller. He doesn't have to lift the weight as far, right?
Yeah, hey, that's the advantage he got, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it help him out a little bit. So.
And when you're benching, the guys with the shorter arms have an advantage, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on,
All right, who? What have you maxed out on a bench press?
I've did 4 or 5 before.
405 pounds on the bench. Who is the guy? Now, we're not talking about running backs, but who is the biggest beast in the locker or in the weight room?
In the weight room,
is there anybody that sometimes guys will just stop and watch him on the bench press or watch him on the squat press?
We got a couple. Bryson Darnell, Day Richardson. Those big guys on the defensive line, man. They get after it in the weight room. I love to watch them.
Now, when you first came, they had already renovated the weight room by the time you got here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you transferred from Presbyterian College. You were telling me that that's in South Carolina. We played them in a tournament in basketball probably 10 years ago.
Yes, sir.
So I couldn't remember where they were, and we played them at a neutral site, so I really didn't know about Presbyterian. Okay. So tell us about the recruiting process, because your bio says that you were also recruited by programs like Army, Southern Miss, and Louisiana Tech.
You mean like coming from Presbyterian? How was it coming from there, or just out of high school?
Or just any of the recruiting out of high school, and then obviously if you're going to leave Presbyterian, there are going to be schools when they know you're leaving that are going to be interested.
Okay, well, coming out of high school, I was when I transferred my senior year, it was kind of like a great year for me, a breakout year. But unfortunately, guys had already been offered. University had already throughout all of their offers, and when guys commit, they can't really just pull on them.
Sure.
That'll be unfair. So coming out of high school, I was a late bloomer, but still had a great season. And I just I used to just always pray that I never make the wrong decision. So I really didn't care where I went to play ball, long as I was getting a free education. And I would just take advantage of everything else on the field. So when it came down to signing day, I only had 2 offers. I had Alabama State and Presbyterian. And I remember just praying like, God, just make it obvious for me so I don't make the wrong mistake. And Alabama State just all of a sudden just stopped picking up the phone.
Really?
So even though that may be a bad thing to some people, or they may look at it as that wasn't right, but I just took advantage of it and like, well, this is what I prayed for, so only one option, so I know it has to be the right option.
So from Georgia to South Carolina, how long of a trip was it for your family to come see you play?
It was about 5 hours, and now that I think about it, it's not long at all compared to where I'm at now. It's like 9.5. So
to come to Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so you play a season at Presbyterian. You have 332 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, which would lead me to believe they like to get you in around the goal line, right?
They did.
I could see. I mean, SEMO likes to get you in around the goal line. Now you're playing some quarterback now, man. I mean, they're snapping you the football in that Wildcat. How much do you like that, or do you like it?
I love it, man. I love it. I always joke with our coaches about, me throwing the ball and different things like that. But I know they don't take it serious. But I really do appreciate, it's just the opportunity to help the team. It's fun and games, but long as we scoring and everybody happy, that's all that matter, man.
All right, well, talk about the depth that you guys have got, because Zion Custis and Geno Hess, guys that are also playing reps in the backfield, they're good young players, aren't they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are my guys, man, my right-hand and left-hand guys. When we on the field, we just always in each other's ear about, okay, well, maybe do this the next play and do this. And they young, man, so we like to call ourselves a three-headed monster. So, we one of us will go in and wear the defense down, then the next one come in, then the next one. And we just keep it rolling like that, man. So it's great to just have help and not just be a one-man band, because that can just wear on you not so much of a season, but as a lifetime, the injuries that come back because you had to do so much. So it's great to have, like, a great team.
Obviously, people see you carrying the football or catching the football out of the backfield, but you've got blocking responsibilities and help protect. Daniel Santa Catarina is a big part of what you do, not just running with the pigskin.
Yes, sir. That's just being a team player. A lot of people don't. Those are like what we like to call stats that don't get the mainstream, like picking up a blitz backside so that he can throw to Christian or Aaron Austin or Z anybody, to complete a great play. That's just like in life general, the small things that somebody may do. The person that iron your shirt, and not everybody's talking about the suit, but it's just the small things that come in, to keep everything rolling smooth and keep everybody healthy. So that's a great responsibility that I take.
And if you're not good at doing it or doing it properly, you're not going to be on the field. Coach Tuke's going to have you out of the football game, right?
Exactly. So if you want to help the team and play, then you need to be able to block.
All right, we flew to Montana State. Really nice country out there, just a great atmosphere.
It is.
We had a great atmosphere at Mizzou. So you've played 2 road games. It was a standing room only crowd at Houck Stadium when you played against SIU. So all you've played in is in front of big crowds this year.
Yeah.
How good is it, and what are the players thinking? Finally, we get back home, not only for 1 game, but you start a 2-game homestand Saturday.
It's just, man, we want to be able to, our fans to be able to come out and support us. Like, we've been on the road for the past 2 games, and we obviously seen their people come out and support them. So it's just a great feeling, a different motive when you got guys supporting you just how they did. So it's just an opportunity to get back and make everybody proud and let them know that we're still working.
All right. They picked you to finish 2nd in the Ohio Valley Conference preseason poll. And I think a lot of other publications were picking Jacksonville 1, Southeast Missouri State 2. What's the mindset of this team as you get ready in a couple of weeks to start OVC play?
We don't pay attention to that at all. We want to approach it like we're at the bottom of the totem pole. So, everybody we see, we want to approach them like they are the number 1 team, and we're trying to take everything they have. So whether it's Tennessee Tech, TSU, Jacksonville State, Austin Peay, we want to give everybody our best efforts. And however they see the rank us, that's on them. But we can only control how hard, physical, and fast we play on a day-to-day basis.
All right, you're from Georgia. Are you a Falcons fan?
Oh, man, that's kind of tough. I love the Falcons because they're the home team, but they always seem to let me down. So I just be a little iffy with them, But, of course, I root for them. I love to see them win it all.
All right. Did you watch the game last night?
I did not.
Okay. Well, they pulled it out.
Yeah, I caught a couple highlights and I was a little proud, but they got to show me a little more before I just root for them.
I understand. Julio Jones had the game-winning play. I mean, man, is that guy a freak or what?
Man, absolutely. Like, he's one of those guys that you just watch and you just learn everything you can learn. Like, one of those guys that you be like, I wonder how it would be just to be Julio Jones for a day or for an hour, It's right there on the TV as we talk about it.
There it is.
So.
There's the play.
Yeah.
That was the game winner. All right. You came in. We rushed you right here up to the microphone, but they did hand you a menu. So you got your order in. What's for lunch?
Boneless wings, barbecue.
All right. Enjoy your boneless wings.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see you Saturday at Houck Stadium, and
Yes,
thanks
sir.
so much for joining us.
Thank y'all.
All right, Mark Robinson, Red Hawks tailback. We got one more segment with Coach Tuke to wrap it up. When we come back, it's the Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings on SEMO ESPN. Show at Wings, etc. in Cape. Don't forget, we're back here in the Cape location next week on Monday at 12 noon as the Red Hawks will be heading into a bye week after the game against West Virginia State, and then they open conference play the following week against Tennessee Tech. Speaking of conference, the game of the day and maybe one of the games of the year so far, Coach Tuke, was the win for Jacksonville State over Eastern Washington, who came in, I think, the fourth-ranked team in the country. Jacksonville was down 28-7 after one quarter. They were down by 17 to start the fourth quarter, and they came back and won 49-45. How about that
What
game?
a win. What a win. That's a big deal for our conference, when we talk about playoffs, and you got to earn the respect, and the OVC doesn't have a lot of respect nationally. And so that was huge. That was a huge win for us, and I know it's a tough place to play. I mean, it really is, even for Eastern Washington, and we get to go down there later in the year. But hats off to Jacksonville State.
It'd be interesting if that game was played on that Red Inferno turf up in Cheney, Washington. It might have been a different deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the trip to Montana State. Like, that's a long trip. There's a lot to it,
And we were at Cheney when SEMO played in the playoffs in 2010. Around the league, pretty good win, too, for Austin Peay. They go on the road and knock off Mercer 48-34. They were behind in that game, had to rally and come back. It is hard to win on the road, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, college football is just so different. There's so many things that goes into playing on the road, but we got to do it, which I'm thankful we got tested at Montana State, Mizzou, because we got to go to Austin Peay, who's having a good year. We got to go to Jacksonville State, obviously. So if we want to win the OVC, we got to do it on the road, probably.
All right, you say you're going to have live tackling drills, a rarity in practice today. Getting ready for West Virginia State, 1 o'clock. Keys to what are the keys for you working your way up to game time on Saturday against the Hornets?
Just offensively, we got to go back square one and establish the run game. Defensively, we got to do a better job in tackling, and then kicking game. Make sure we have our specialists are actually killing it. We got to get these other 10 yahoos to get it on, and I'm pretty good at that. And so I've
noticed.
It's like your intro song. What was that? Turn It Up. What was that song that I'm going to turn it up this week?
Can't wait.
It's hot outside. We're going to feel better after we walk out of practice. That's the main goal. I don't know if they'll feel good. I'll feel really good.
So, and also for people that will be coming to Houck Stadium Saturday at 1 o'clock, hopefully they'll get there at 11, tailgate, Red Hawk Walk, take in the whole college game day experience. Fans are going to be seeing a team that's going to spread it out, and they're going to be slinging it, or at least they're going to try to sling it.
Yeah.
West Virginia
State.
State.
I got a great quarterback, 2-0, the confident team, and so it will be a challenge for our guys, and it should be a competitive game. And come and check us out and see if we made the kind of improvement that we need to make.
All right, Red Hawks in the top 25 in all the national polls. They came out in the last hour. Coach, we'll see you Saturday over at Houck Stadium. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
That's Coach Tuke, and that's going to do it for the Red Hawks Coaches Show here at Wings, Etc. in Cape. Thanks to Dean Field, our chief engineer, Mike Reddick as well, and Joe Hobbs Patriots, a big win. We wanted to make sure we mentioned that. Antonio Brown with a touchdown from Tom Brady. We get the Stephen A. Smith Show for you coming up straight ahead on ESPN Radio. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from Wings, Etc.